I am making bundles today, and they wanted a few bundles of kindling. So I thought, what the heck, I'll come out here to this old pile. Guys, if you haven't noticed, we're at the old wood yard, and I had decided on the day of the open house I was going to move my wrapper over to there, but you know, the weather, it was raining, and I thought electricity and rain don't mix very well. I didn't want my machine to get ruined, so I left it here. Well, I think I got a nice process set up for my bundles, and he wanted some kindling, and I know that the cleaner used to sit here, and you know, I let this get away from me. And I just came out and started pulling out these slivers that would come off the top of the Perfect Split, because they make nice kindling. They've laid out here for a while, they're nice and dry. I think it'll work out great. So I just thought I would come out here, I would show you guys around. And this is where we used to make firewood. The 405 sat here. This is where all the sawdust was going. The live deck was over there. It just seems like a month ago this was a fully functioning firewood production facility. I just want to come back here too and reminisce a little bit. Okay, we got work to do. Let's go. And we're walking past, these are all the skidways that log hauler Jesse laid down, and we had logs on every single one of these. And right when the decision was made to make the big move, I had 7 triaxle loads of logs. And this is pretty much all by myself. I got every single one of those logs run through the machine. And this is what you're seeing is the mess left behind. This is a trailer that I have a gentleman that makes firewood for me, and every single piece in here has been split with an axe, guys. He makes beautiful firewood. So I will still bring some home, and I intend to keep bringing it back here to the house. I just kind of like it here for residential in the fall. I have 2 people now that make firewood for me, and I leave the majority of it at their place, but I still bring stuff home when I have an open in my schedule. We'll load it up, I truck it down here, and I get it stacked. I got started earlier this morning. I have 10 made already. This is a small order. They wanted 20 bundles and then a few of the kindling bundles. We make those half size. They sell them for the same price. They actually sell pretty good. And this is where I think the benefit, I'll just keep the wrapper here for now, because I can bring it all the way out to the wood pile. I have my truck backed up to it, so I can just make it and put it right onto the tailgate. Because I'm out in the field, I'm using my one power station. I have the 2 of them. The other one I have over at the new wood yard in the container. This one here I've kept at the house. And this does a very good job powering the wrapper. And I've just set the wrapper out here at the wood pile. Now, for the sake of filming videos, all right, I would have had the wrapper turned this way so that the wood pile is here. But the sun's wrong, guys. So it's just the way things are going to go to make this a good video for you guys. So I understand that I'm a little inefficient going for the logs, but that's the way things go in YouTube. I think for bundles, there's no secret. I think it helps to have straight logs. If I find one that's got a big knot in it or a lot of twist, I don't put it in. It just doesn't make a nice bundle. And in a variety of sizes. But it also helps to have dry wood. I have always felt that, usually, not always, people that buy bundles aren't that experienced with lighting fires. If you give them a bundle of green wood, they may never figure out why they can't get it to burn. I also think too, if you're selling bundles and if you're putting your labels on them, it's not good advertisement when you're selling a bundle of wood that won't burn and your name and phone number is right in front of the person who bought it. So be wary of that. you might have already noticed that I am not putting on my labels. And I recall too, my last video I've done with my bundles, I didn't use labels. And I wanted to explain my thought process on why I'm not using labels on these bundles. Well, there's a number of reasons why. The first one is the retailer doesn't require them, so why put them in? It's an expense. And then some people will, I think, accurately point out that it is a missed opportunity for advertisement, because every bundle is being purchased by a person who wants firewood. Don't you think that when the winter time comes around, if they like what they got in the bundle, they would be giving you a call for a home delivery? And I agree with that too. However, I have learned right away that selling firewood is easy. I never have enough, so I technically don't need any more advertising. Maybe the time will come when I reach that point where if I start advertising, I can get even more traffic to my website. But for now, I don't need the advertisement. Sounds weird, but it's true. And my last reason is, and this goes back to a comment I had the other day. I had a gentleman telling me that I don't understand the industry because of the way I make my firewood. And the reason that I'm not putting labels on my bundles for this delivery is because quite the opposite. I do understand my industry, and I know that this location mostly sells bundles to campers. And this is where I've always said, to each their own, but I try to stay away from campgrounds. Campers don't like spending a lot of money on firewood. My goal isn't just to sell firewood. My goal is to sell firewood the way I want to sell it, which is at a high margin. I think that if you do want to get into the bundle market, getting a campground on your roster makes a lot of sense. If that's what you want to do, then go for it. I think when I had first started out, I had gone after some campgrounds and I got into like a negotiating phase with them. But then I started figuring out, at least for me, it was going to be a lot of work because these campgrounds go through a lot of firewood. And really at the end of the day, that same amount of firewood that I would be bundling up, if I were just to sit on it for a few more months, I could sell it probably for double in residential deliveries than I could spending all the extra effort bundling up firewood for a campground. Now that is just my area. Your area might be completely different, because where I sell my firewood for residential, I don't even sell it around here where I live. Everything that I sell residential goes about 20 miles south, and that is where my money is made. I think you guys have heard me say this before. I try to stay away from people who heat their houses with wood, because again, they are like me. They're cheap, and that's why they heat with wood, because they're looking to save money. So all of the firewood that I make is geared towards people that don't heat with firewood. They use firewood for ambiance, pleasure burners. It's just a matter of how you want to make your money. I had long determined that I cannot be a volume producer, but interestingly enough, my volume is a lot higher than I thought it would ever be when I first started. When I got my first phone call from a restaurant, I had 6 cords to my name. And I remember him saying, you know, they go through 1 cord about every 2 weeks. Can I keep up with that pace? And I said, yes, I can. When opportunity's knocking, you open the door, guys. And that's where I also think if you do get that call from a local campground, go for it, man. It's a good start. It'll help you understand what needs to be done from a production standpoint, and if that's how you want your business to go in the future. I think it is a good hobby. It is a good business. It is a good opportunity to make money. But as they say, what works best for you works best for you. So as a practice, I do try to stay away from campgrounds. In this case, this is going to a grocery store, which is around a bunch of campgrounds. So they get a lot of campground traffic. They have their stores set up for a lot of items that campers normally want, you know, ice and prepared foods, hot dogs, buns, firewood. And this is another example of where stacking wood just makes a lot of sense, you know? How easy it is to pull logs out of here to wrap versus in a big pile and you're reaching to find the good ones. Here you can see exactly what you're looking for. You just get it right onto the wrapper and get it going. And now let's make some of these kindling bundles. Guys, this is just made to order. This is what they want. So I just get these small pieces. I remember when I first started running that 405, I was annoyed by those last few pieces that would come off the top and then they fell down through the cracks of the cleaner. But I remember, who was it that said, Joe, when you're given lemons, make lemonade? And I do see this is the future of my kindling program, because I used to make my kindling with the super splitter. I would cut me off 10-inch pieces, and then I would just split little tiny pieces with the super splitter. And you know what? I think this is just as good. It looks good. They're clean. They're dry. So where I have my kindling bags that I sell as an add-on sale to residential, this is now what will be going into them. I've already measured it to make sure they fit nicely, and they do. So I hope when I get to making my kindling again, getting ready for the season, I'll do a video of it. I've done a video on it a couple years ago, and it had a lot of interest. I thought people really found interesting the way I make my kindling. But I see kindling, you know, the way your fast food restaurants see French fries. A retail principle is called add-on sales. The thought is, you already have that customer in front of you and they already want to buy something. So try to get an add-on sale. It absolutely serves a purpose. It fills a need that the customer has, and it's a good add-on sale. When I'm doing a residential delivery, I try to deliver quarter quarts, and my truck holds 2 quarters, which is a half of a quart of firewood. When you can deliver 2 separate deliveries on one load, and then have 2 add-on sales, if you're selling your kindling for $10 each, guys, that's an extra $20 on a delivery, and that more than covers your gas. And then over time, especially if you're delivering 100 residential deliveries in a season, you just added a lot of money to your bottom line. If you were at my open house, and I'll show this when I do another video over by the 405, I now keep an IBC tote next to the cleaner, because after every run I try to pull out all the nice pieces that would make some nice kindling, and I have them saved in an IBC tote, and that will be my kindling for the fall. I was at that trade show in Bangor, Maine, and there were a number of wrapping machines up there. And I had made a mental note that a lot of them had the kind of wrap, the stretch wrap in them that I dislike. And I just made mental notes of that because, gosh, is it loud. So I had put a link in every one of my videos. I had found one of, I think, the best deals for stretch wrap, and ironically the company is just from right up the road in Cleveland. And I'm serious, if you have a wrapper, get the cast stretch wrap. There are 2 types of stretch wrap. There is blown and there is cast. That blown wrap, guys, it is so loud that it will make dogs throw up if they were within a 20 feet radius of the machine. It is that loud. When you switch to the cast wrap, and this is 90 mil, I had also gone to a thinner one. I just think it stretches better. It just made everything so much more enjoyable. And that link is in my description. All you got to do is check it out. And I'm just telling you from my experiences, this is the stuff to get. So it's just been from my experience, guys, that the best money to get selling bundles is at a retail type establishment, like a convenience store, a grocery store, a hardware store. And I stay away from national chains because they usually buy their bundled firewood from their central distribution. They don't get it off of local people. The other ones are like bait shops. Try to find a local business. And I don't want to confuse you because I'm telling you, get labels, get UPC codes. And I have them, and that gives you a lot more leverage when you're trying to find an account that will start buying your stuff. But in this case here, they don't require them, so why put them in? There would be nothing wrong with me putting them in, but I had my reasons. And it just sounds weird to say this, but I don't really need any more advertisement because I don't have enough wood to keep up with my sales. So why sell stuff cheap? Here's the other thought too, especially if you have young kids. I think this is a good way to introduce them to the industry, to running a business, to the discipline and motivation needed to keep this going. You know, get them set up with their own labels and make that an add-on sale with any delivery that you have. I think that would be a really cool thing to do. The retailer will sell these for what they want to sell them for. It's none of my business. I know what I sell my bundles to them for. And I'm pretty sure that they sell the kindling bundle and the firewood for the same price. I think this is just a good example of the smaller the split, the more money the wood is worth. In this case here, you have a small bundle of kindling, and it can get the same amount that the bundle of firewood is. But that is where packaging plays such a huge deal. Because without nice packaging, without a nice bundle like this, it's like you're just trying to make money picking sticks off the ground. And surely no one's going to be doing that, are they? And there you go. So there's 20 bundles plus 5 kindling bundles, and then I can take these down to the store. I'm going to print up an invoice, and then I give them an invoice. They sign the other one, and I keep that for my records. Guys, if you are looking to get into firewood, bundling is the way to go. It is. There is not a lot of people in your area that sells bundled firewood. I'm telling you right now. There's a lot of people that sell firewood, but they don't take the time to make bundles. Give it a shot, start small, and if you can start growing, then start expanding, but get those labels. And the sooner that you can get into a professional wrapper like this, I think it's the best for everyone. So that's it from the old woodyard, guys. I hope everyone has a great day.